What's up, everybody? Joe White here. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and wanted to get my thoughts on Monday Night Raw from last night. I went on Labor Day and went to Charlotte, North Carolina to go check out Monday Night Raw. It had been, it's been about 4 years since I went to a WWE show. The last one I went to was Night of Champions, when they ran the Spectrum Center, about back in 2018 or 2019, one of the two. So it's been about 4 or 5 years. Wanted to give my thoughts on a couple of the matches. First off, that place was not completely sold out. Most of the upper bowl where I was sitting at was tarped off. I firmly believe that if they had not had tarped those off, they would have sold. So they weren't at full capacity last night. Also, they did 2 matches from the main event. One was Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa, which Bronson handedly won. That's a big dude in person. The other one was Riddick Moss, I think it was, versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa won with that one. Very good to see Ciampa back in North Carolina. Little of the aesthetic things the other way. Well, not aesthetic, but Samantha Irving is a really good ring announcer. Really good. And I like the way she gives like each character her own little twist. Like for Chelsea Green, she does a Valley Girl voice, Chelsea Green, and for Gunther, she kind of does like a German accent, Gunther, So a couple of things I noticed is that the crowd was doing, before, if you've ever been to a WWE show, before the show starts, the crowd is entertaining themselves, and up until recently, it's woo, they do the Ric Flair woo. Now, it's been replaced by the LA Knight, yeah, they do the yeah. So LA Knight is super over. If they don't pull the trigger with him soon, they're morons. There is money to be made there. Absolute money. I would not be surprised. We all know that Cody is probably going to face Roman again at WrestleMania next year, and he's probably going to be the one to take the title off of him. If not, it would shock me. You need to have LA Knight win the Rumble and face whoever Seth Rollins loses that belt to. I firmly believe that since he did not win Money in the Bank, you need to have LA Knight win the Rumble. It doesn't matter where he starts from. It doesn't matter how many people he eliminates. He's already over. You just need to have him win the Rumble to, call his shot at which title he wants to go for. So LA Knight, mega over like Rover. Jey Uso, oh my God. Is he over? There's another one. When I look at Jey Uso, yeah, they call him main event Jey Uso, whatever the case may be, but I just can't see him really, not right now anyways, but with some work and with some building, I could see him becoming a main eventer sooner or later, but not right now. Not right now. He's not, he's main event material, but he's not champion material right now. Like I said, 1 or 2 years down the line, build him up. Yeah. But anyway. Sami Zayn, always over. Really good. The man came out to his music 3 times throughout the show. I think by the 3rd time, people were like, oh, him again. The Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura match. The build to it and Rollins. Before I get to the match, let me get to Rollins. Because Seth Rollins comes out and clearly they went to commercial. Because for almost the entire commercial break, he stood in the middle of the ring with the spotlights on him and the crowd was singing his stupid song. And it got to the point where I literally just shouted, "All right, enough already." You know, it was just stupid. The whole singing of the song is stupid. But he is over. He's really good at what he does. The whole building to the Nakamura match or whatever, you know, I listened to Meltzer this morning and they were just trashing this show, and it was a really good show. You know, Nakamura said he doesn't want to fight Rollins, but yet he's out there fighting Ricochet. It's two different people. He doesn't want to fight Rollins for the title. He wants to do it on his terms, but he'll go out there and beat up Ricochet tonight. And I'll just tell you, Ricochet, they got some work to do with that guy. He's over, but as soon as the bell rang for the Nakamura Ricochet match, you could have heard a pin drop in there. That building, that crowd could care less about that match. And it's very sad because I'm a huge Nakamura fan, dating all the way back to his days in New Japan. And Edwards, my boy Hollywood Jeff Edwards has been saying it. They ruined him from the moment he got on the main roster by, you know, with the whole karate chop and putting the ninja stars on his t-shirt and stuff like that. Now, over the last few weeks with the promos in Japanese and with the anime intro he got at Payback, they're slowly starting to build him up. But right now, that crowd could care less. I mean, you know, as Jim Cornette likes to say, they could have been out there killing puppies and the crowd would not have cared. Same thing said for the women's matches. Both women's matches. The crowd got up, went to the bathroom, went to the merchandise stands, went to go get food. Other than that, they stayed silent during this match. That Zoe Stark versus Shayna Baszler, I'm sorry, but no disrespect to women's wrestling, but it's just not a draw right now. That crowd, you could have heard a pin drop. And then, when they finally got to the Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green match, my son finally said enough, and he got up and went to the merchandise stands too. It's just not there. People wanted to see Becky Lynch. People wanted to see Trish. It's like, I know you have to make stars. And I know that there's a process for doing that. And yes, it involves you going out there and wrestling in front of a dead crowd some nights to get there. But, man, I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't realize it was that bad. The Intercontinental Championship match last night, we can talk about that. Every time they showed like the video package of the different people who have held the title, you know, the crowd knew some and they didn't know some, you know, so it's typical, you know, typical crowd reactions for that. The match itself, I mean, all night long, whenever they would show that package of Gable versus Gunther tonight, the crowd had no reaction to it whatsoever. And even for the beginning of the main event, they had no reaction whatsoever. I thought, oh my God, they're going to sit here and not make a noise during Gunther and Chad Gable. But toward the middle of the match, once Gunther threw that first chop and it echoed throughout the building, that was it. The crowd was into it. The crowd was hooked. And, you know, Gable's kid being in the front row and crying. The crowd, as soon as they saw her on the Tron crying, the crowd felt really bad and reacted to it. And it just tugged at people's heartstrings. People, you know, Meltzer goes, well, she looked traumatized. Do you not think her daddy didn't clue her into this? Come on. Come on. So, really, really good match live. I found myself watching the ring instead of the Tron for a portion of a lot of that match. I mean, it was an absolute honor to sit there and watch that kind of a match live. It was brilliant. It told a story. I kind of agree with Dave Meltzer to the point where everybody after this match. In fact, I went to go up here to Northern Virginia to pick up my load, and I was wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt, and the person at the guard shack was like, "Hey, did are you a fan of wrestling? Did you watch Raw?" And I was like, "Oh, not only did I watch it, I was there." And even they were saying, I hope they go ahead and push Chad Gable. I hope they elevate Chad Gable, was the words that they used. And I says, nah, it's probably not likely to happen. They'll be vying for those tag titles before you know it. It'll be Chad Gable and Otis versus the Judgment Day pretty soon. Even though Gable has deserved a singles run a long time ago. And you think of what this man has had to endure with the Shorty G and all that mess. But it kind of reminded me of a Japanese crowd during the main event last night live, because it was no reaction, and I'm sitting there going, okay, are they even looking at this? Are they seeing the potential of this here? And after that first chop, it starts to build, and then they get behind Gable, and that crowd was rocking last night by the time they into that main event. I mean, that main event proves that people want to see good wrestling, not just good matches, Tony Khan, but they want to see good matches and good storytelling to go along with those matches, and that's exactly what we got last night. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. I'm glad I was there. Let's see, what else? Dominic Mysterio, oh my God. You could not hear yourself think people were booing that loudly last night. Do they not realize that everybody in the Judgment Day is a babyface except for Dominic? They were cheering Balor. They were cheering Priest when he got the briefcase. They could care two craps about J.D. McDonough, but that's okay. It's going to take some building. It's going to take some storytelling. Not just good matches. Tony Khan. By the way, I think your sugar bowl is still empty. But, Dominic is really the only heel out of that group. But my God, were those boos deafening. Everybody was there to see Mommy, Rhea Ripley. The women, the men, the children. Everybody was chanting for Mommy last night. Mommy calling the shots at the Judgment Day. Beautiful stuff. Really beautiful stuff. She's over like Rover. Wish she would have wrestled last night. We wouldn't have been able to hear a pin drop during the women's matches. Cody Rhodes, I was wrong. I kept texting AC and them because I was like, oh my God, Cody's not here, because the lineup had leaked out through PW Insider. And I'm like, dang it, no Cody. The one guy who I wanted to see was Cody Rhodes, and he wasn't on the show. And then I'm thinking, okay, because at Payback, I'm sitting here hearing him talk about SmackDown and how great SmackDown is. And I'm sitting here going, if you go to say you're going to SmackDown after I've done bought a ticket to see, primarily you, I'm going to be mad. But, and even they mentioned a trade deal with Jey Uso. And I love the fact that they're playing off, hey, this locker room may not like you. There's a lot of people back here. You done made some enemies. You done burned some bridges while you were hanging out with Roman. And, we're glad that you're getting away from it, but all is not forgotten. Like it. Storytelling. Good stuff. So when they told him, hey, I had to do a really good trade to get you here, and people are going to be mad when they find out who it is, I thought it was Cody. And then they announced that Cody was returning to Raw next week, so maybe Cody is not gone after all. Owens was not on the show last night, which leads me to think that maybe Kevin Owens is going to SmackDown, and maybe we're going to get more Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens while they build up LA Knight even more. I'm not opposed to that, but it's not needed because LA Knight's ready now. Hell, maybe he should be the guy to beat Roman. But yeah, I mean, all night long I'm texting Edwards and AC going, dang it, Cody's not here. Then they announced during the commercial break that it's your dark match main event. It's Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. I left right after Cody's entrance because I wanted to see his pyro, and my God, is that pyro loud. My right ear was hurting. It was ringing and hurting for a good 45 minutes after that show last night. I don't think I've ever been to a WWE show where the pyro was that loud. I mean, it was awesome. Loud is good when it comes to the pyro, man. But yeah, my right ear was killing me after Cody Rhodes' entrance. That pyro, and he didn't even do the secondary pyro once he gets in the ring. He just did the stage pyro, like his stage pyro when he's up on the stage. So, good show overall. I'll put it to you this way. The Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio match was so short that by the time I got up out my seat, got downstairs to the main concourse, and used the bathroom. By the time I got into the bathroom, I heard ding, 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 and Cody's music playing, and he was cutting his "Thank God You're Here, We Love You" promo afterwards. The Miz segment. Let me talk about The Miz here. Again, Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer have been crapping on The Miz for years now. Oh, he's boring. He does the same promo every time. It's not funny. The Invisible Man thing. Do they not bring... They don't bring up the fact that John Cena's whole gimmick is "you can't see me," and that the running joke in the WWE 2K23 commercial was John Cena not being seen. Mike the Miz Mizanin is gold right now. You can't tell me otherwise. Meltzer and Alvarez do not know what they're talking about. They clearly don't know entertainment. If they don't do 15 full-on flipping Lindies and 23 super kicks, heaven forbid that those guys could actually talk, which they can't. The only thing they know how to do is be arrogant little pricks. Oh, look what we did. We got a hot topic. I don't give a shit. But the entire thing, like when John Cena's music hit, I'm not even a Cena fan, and I was kind of marking out because I'm like, oh crap, he's here. And then they showed up on the Titantron scoreboard thing what the camera was doing. And I was like, oh, they're doing the fake out entrance. You can't see me. And shout out to the cameraman. I think his name is Stu. Who, to kind of know what the camera movements of John Cena's entrance are. That takes skill. So shout out to the cameraman on that one. And then him giving the skull crushing finale to the air. And that was a good segment. The crowd now wants to see, coming out of all that, the crowd now wants to see LA Knight versus The Miz again. Hopefully John Cena's not involved and it goes maybe about 3 minutes less than it did last time. But hey, anytime you get to see LA Knight, yeah, it's a good show. It's a good program. We got Raw talent mixing with SmackDown talent again. But did we really think the brand split thing was going to last? No. So overall, very good show, very good crowd last night. The women's matches, they could care less. Nakamura and Ricochet, they could care less. But overall, a very good crowd. And there was no stupid chants. There were no nursery rhymes. There was no or no Tyler, Tyler, Tyler. And there was none of that mess. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Remember, if you see a big rig on the road, give us lots of room. Do not tailgate us. Let us over if we need to get over. Go the speed limit. If you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you, and we'll see you down the road.